Hello, everybody. It's Jim Capuano coming to you with TJ Troop, my partner in crime here at the College Football Podcast from collegepressbox.com. Thank you for joining us as we take a look at Week 6, coming into Week 6 after wrapping up an exciting, wild Week 5 here in the college football season. We are brought to you by Pop-Tarts and Cheez-It, and along the way we'll be talking about the Pop-Tarts Crazy Good Team of the Week, and there were a number of them to choose from last week, as well as the Cheez-It Crunch Time Play of the Week. But before we do that, let's say hello to my partner, TJ Troop. TJ is a football historian, a coach, an athlete, a student of the game, a fan of the game of football, author of 3 books, and a weekly contributor to Pro Football Journal. TJ, how are we doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Well, you're most welcome, Jim. I sure look forward to today. We've sure got some dandy games to talk about, and an interesting game coming up this weekend for me, anyway. So let's get after it.
All right, well, let's do that. So one of the teams we're going to talk about is actually our winner of the Cheez-It Crunch Time Play of the Week, and that team is, of course, Oregon, who withstood a furious rally by the Penn State Nittany Lions in Happy Valley, and ending the game in double overtime to prevail on the road for the Oregon Ducks. So that was the game you actually chose to feature last week. And before we bring in your analysis of that, let's go ahead and here is the play, and then you could talk about both the play and the game at large. How's that sound, TJ?
That sure works for me.
All right, here is the play.
Take it to Pena. Aller, sideline. Oh, it's picked! Dylan Thieneman calls game. That's a walk-off, whiteout winner for the Ducks.
Yeah, a walk-off whiteout winner for the Ducks. TJ, take us through that play, and let's also analyze the game at large. But let's start with the play and then back up and go to the game, if you don't mind.
Well, his interception, and we're talking about Thieneman,
yes,
it's his eyes. He's so focused on the throw. And, of course, there's times, and having been a defensive back, there's times you want to know where the ball is, but you don't. But he did the entire time. So it almost looks like an easy play. But let's give him all the credit in the world. He sees the ball, he intercepts the ball, and it's the situation he does it. I mean, this gives the Ducks a tremendous opportunity to win the game, and guess what? They do.
Yes, they did, and that was an amazing play. And you're right. Yeah, you always talk about chin to the ball, and that goes for, the coaching on that was for a receiver, but that applies to the defender as well, correct?
Amen. Well, you watch him. I mean, it's fundamental. It's everything you want, and he delivers for his team.
Yep, he sure did. Yeah, massive play. So 30-24 Oregon, coming away with a victory after letting up 14 points in the fourth quarter to have Penn State tie the game. What was your just overall impression of this game, just at a high level? Because a lot was going on in this.
Absolutely. Well, first off, if you're looking at the team stats, let's say no, you're just looking at the stats after the game. Oregon 20 first downs, Penn State 15. Total yards, Oregon 424, Penn State 276. Time of possession, Oregon 33-52, Penn State 26-08. I mean, it looks like, Oregon is going to win handily. So let's give credit to the Nittany Lions. In the fourth quarter, they scored those 14 points. I mean, they were, I won't say relentless, but for lack of a better word, they sure were close to that. And they tie it at, 17-17. But in the overtime, as we know, Oregon comes away with the victory. And they They had and there's one player that stood out for me for Penn State. I mean, many of them played well, but Amari Campbell, the linebacker for Penn State, my God, now he doesn't fill the inside running lanes as well as I've seen other linebackers. But you talk about a youngster that can pursue and make tackles. Look at the tackle chart and watch him. He's an exceptional player.
Unbelievable. 15 total tackles, 8 of them
Yeah,
solo. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, it's almost like as I refer to him, since he's my favorite player of all time, Dickie Boy would be proud of that, meaning Richard Marvin Butkus.
Uh-huh.
Dickie Boy would be proud of having 15 tackles in a game. Penn State has nothing where they should feel, down, other than they lost at home in a game they sure wanted to win. But their season's not over. We got a long way to go in the Big Ten. But their margin for error now is, shall we almost say, microscopic. They cannot afford another loss in the Big Ten.
Yeah. It sure seems that way. I mean, Penn State did show a lot of heart, right down 17-3. Just a couple of minutes gone by in the fourth quarter, and they never.
And here they come.
Yeah, right. 2 impressive drives, 75-yard drive, 62-yard drive that took 15 plays. 15. I mean, that is a snail's pace, and
but enough to get him in the end zone.
Yeah, and tying it up there, and then taking the lead in the first overtime, and then Oregon, it was their turn to, hit the ball back over the net, to use a tennis analogy, and they did,
right,
and they finished it with an overhead smash on that interception. So really a hell of a game, and you really know how to pick them, because this was your preview.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but this is picking. This is cherry picking. I mean, Oregon, Penn State, in Happy Valley. Come on, this is a good one. I also, real quickly, want to pay tribute to 2 men that I thought just played exceptional for Oregon. Now, their defense was creative, and they made it hard on the offensive line of Penn State. And I hope I pronounce it. They have a junior linebacker, number 44. Tuiati, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's correct.
For Oregon. He really played well. Wow, he is a fine player. I mean, he looked good enough to me where if he continues this, he could be all Big Ten. And the other was Dante Moore. He was accurate throwing the ball. Now, not a lot of long throws, but boy, oh boy, he was in command. That's the term I'll use.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ducks get the road victory, and in 2 weeks, they play Indiana. And you talk about a game I'm looking forward to. So I'm going to leave the Big Ten this week, but I'll be returning.
All right, very well, excellent, awesome. That was great. Yeah, congratulations to Oregon for a fine victory there, and to Dylan Thieneman for his clutch interception in the second overtime to secure the victory, to earn the win for Oregon, and an acknowledgement from Cheez-It as the crunch time play of the week. So congrats to the Ducks. All right, before we dive into the other game that we're going to talk about, which is an upset win, from coming out of the ACC with the Virginia Cavaliers, tell us what else you saw over the weekend from college football that caught your eye.
Well, again, when you're watching the highlights, I mean, Ole Miss, excellent victory. I mean, LSU is a strong team. Ole Miss getting a victory. So it's just going to be one of those, it's the Southeast Conference. I mean, in one sense, that's all you got to say. It's the Southeast Conference.
Yep.
Alabama had an impressive victory. So some of these conferences, we got not, I know I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself. We've got such a long way to go, but teams have at least positioned themselves where they're back, using the old cliche, we're back on the hunt for the conference crown. So it's just makes it, for me, it makes it that much more fun.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, with the expanded playoffs here, right? It's there is plenty of opportunity for teams to get back into it. Alabama, great case in point, right? Coming out of the gate
Yes, sir.
stumbling, and then not so much.
Here they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's not like they don't have good athletes down there.
Yeah, for sure. And one of their athletes is Caden Proctor, their offensive lineman, who well, they're calling it statistically, it's showing up as a run, but it was really a pass, an 11-yard pass as he rumbled down the sideline and got pushed out of bounds at the 2-yard line. He thought he had made it in, but he did not. And it was just an exciting play to see and a creative play to get your offensive lineman in what is really a wide receiver screen. Again, it went down as a rushing play statistically, but you don't see that a whole lot in college football, and it really ignited the Crimson Tide. What was your take on that particular play?
Well, I'm going to go back to someone that we both respect. Can you hear Keith Jackson calling that play? He'd have been yelling out, "Here comes one of the big uglies down the sideline," and he's rumbling, and he was. I mean, so yeah, it just, when you see plays like that, it makes the game. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun. For him, and I bet his teammates were just loving that.
Yeah, go big fella. Yeah, absolutely.
Go big fella. Can you imagine in the film room how everybody was cheering for him?
Oh man, they were loving it. That really ignited the Crimson Tide. And I was watching that game, and when I saw that, I'm like, they got this. I mean, that stuff matters. It is an emotional game. You're putting your heart and soul and everything into it, and something like that lifts your team. It is fun. It takes the pressure off, and it's supposed to be fun, and it really ignited those guys, and they kept that the rest of the way. And it was that was my take. I thought it was a gutty play. I thought it was a smart play, and it really spoke to the heart of that club. It was beautiful to watch. It was great.
Well, can you imagine in the defensive huddle where they turned and said, we need to watch out for this to screen to the offensive lineman. I mean, that was the last thing they were expecting.
Yeah, no doubt. It was beautifully executed. I bet we'll see some more of that, some copycats coming up somewhere. Maybe Bama will do it again. Who knows? But let's turn a corner. And the last game we're going to recap here is the Virginia Cavaliers, who had a great upset win over the Florida State Seminoles. Seminoles were an earlier winner this year of the Team of the Week. But the Cavs knocked off Florida State, who came into that game on the road as the number 8 ranked team. And Virginia won its 4th game of the year, 46-38. And winning its highest ranked win at Scott Stadium over the last 20 years. So for their team effort, and it was a true team effort, the Cavs are this week's Pop-Tarts Crazy Good Team of the Week. What about that game stood out to you, TJ?
Well, first off, let's talk a little bit more about the Seminoles. They gained 514 yards. And Castellanos, again, had a strong game. Not as good as earlier, but, and both teams turned the ball over 3 times. There were 2 sacks for each team. And they rebounded. Virginia jumps out to the 14-0 lead. Then here comes the Seminoles. And then, we're seesawing back and forth. We're tied, we're field goal. And then, of course, we get to the overtime. And there were many players in this game that played well, but the 2 that jumped out at me, because I knew next to nothing about them. So I'm doing my homework on Chandler Morris. Now, I don't think I played against him in junior high, but he was at 3 different colleges before he's playing this year for Virginia. He was a Sooner, he was a Horned Frog, and he was part of the Mean Green of North Texas.
Yeah.
So, but he played really, really well. I mean, sometimes you cannot help it. You look at the quarterback looks at the quarterback on the other sideline and goes, wow, it's Castellanos, and he's excellent. I'm going to really have to have my A game today. And Chandler Morris, he ran well when he needed to, and he was very, very accurate throwing the ball. So he's someone that, as the season progresses, I'm going to have to check him out and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, he accounted for 5
And
touchdowns, 3 running and 2 throwing. And he only ran for 37 yards. Yeah, he did have 3 picks, but as you mentioned, both teams had 3 turnovers, but he was uh, he was he was clutch when the chips were down for sure. Yeah,
he
yeah,
was clutch. Well, in the 4-yard touchdown run, he actually showed a little acceleration. He dives inside the pylon. I'm going, oh, yeah, that'll get it going. And then, of course, being a former defensive back, I cannot help it, but I'm always looking. Jason, I'm going to pronounce it Prevard, for the Cap, 2 interceptions. And on the end of the game, when he intercepted, which sealed the deal, I really like that the Cavaliers did not just play it safe. They blitzed him. They blitzed Castellanos, and he's throwing it off his back foot. And Prevard just drifts back and jumps up there and go, I've done this before. And he leaps up and makes his 2nd interception.
yeah.
The Cavs earned this victory.
Yes, they did.
And they beat a fine team. It's not like Florida State isn't going to win any more games. And Virginia actually comes to call in here to Louisville and plays our boys here. So an ACC game for Louisville that has meaning. Oh yeah, that's pretty good for mid-season.
Yeah, it's been a little while since probably since well, I mean Lamar Jackson maybe, but probably I'm sure they had some games meaningful since then. But
he had some close games. Brahms, a hell of a guy and a hell of a coach, and they had some tough games both ways last year. But now this is a game, tell me that Virginia isn't going to come into this game all fired up after the victory last week.
yeah, and talk about being fired up. Miami goes up, I guess, in Florida parlance, goes up north
Right.
to play Florida State. So an intrastate rivalry, ACC matchup, a lot on the line. Both these teams, hate each other. So I mean, the schools, it should be a very interesting game. What is your take on this game, and how does FSU bounce back from that?
Well, you just called it. Should we use the word hatred? Or, we're not inviting you to the Christmas party this year. I mean, think back to some of the games between the University of Miami and Florida State back in the day. I mean, those teams took the field. It's not only that there were exceptional athletes out there, you just knew there was going to be some hitting and maybe a few little verbal comments back and forth. I think the term is trash talking. There might have been a little of that. So there might be a little of that this Saturday between Florida State and Miami. A little trash talking.
Yeah, probably. And it's interesting looking at this from a matchup standpoint, because Florida State's offense seems to be the real deal. I mean, they beat Alabama, then they a couple of cream puffs in East Texas A&M and Kent State. So throw those out. But Virginia, they were hitting the board in terms of yards gained and points.
514.
Yeah,
That'll work.
yeah, yeah. So they do rank top 5 nationally, in big rushing plays, 10 plus yards, 20 plus yards, 30 plus yards, 40 plus yards, 50 plus yards. I mean, they're consistent and they're a threat at any level of depth on the field. So it's interesting, and people are going to be interested to see how the Hurricanes defense stacks up against this offense. What do you have a point of view on this game, or maybe you haven't had a chance to look at it? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I just expect a hard-fought game. But again, after the loss last week and with their productivity, I just think Castellanos, if he plays his A game, then Miami better bring some defense. I think that's kind of what we're both hinting or implying here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they're both in an interesting stretch of their schedule. So, Miami they just beat Florida. Before that, they crushed South Florida, both at home, and then before that, they were at home again at Boston College. In fact, Miami has not played on the road all year. So this is their first road test. Uh, and then they come back home next week to play your boys, Louisville. So they are home a
Right.
ridiculous amount of times. Uh, how do you think that's going to impact this Hurricanes club? First road game, sold out, Doak Campbell Stadium.
Well,
Good.
for the young guys on Miami, can you imagine when they come out of the locker room and they take the field, what they're going to hear from the Seminole fans? Some of those boys are going to say, "My mama told me never to use that kind of language." So,
yeah, we could have used some of that at the Ryder Cup, right? Some of these mama, they're telling people how to behave. So
amen.
yeah. So yeah, that's great. We'll look forward to that. We'll turn the corner and talk about the week coming up here in a second. But again, hats off to the Virginia Cavaliers, Pop-Tarts, crazy good team of the week. All right, TJ, we've got a few minutes left here. What is on your list as the top game to watch for here as we head into week 6?
Well, since we've talked about them a couple of times in past weeks. People are going to think that I'm trying to apply to become the agent for Coach Campbell at Iowa State.
Okay.
But that's not true. Though I sure respect that man. The Cyclones are on the road this week at the University of Cincinnati.
Correct.
And if you look at how it sets up, and it's a noon game, so that's my game of the week.
Okay.
And I can't guarantee it, but I think it'll be the last time that I circle the Cyclones on there. But look at what their opportunity is in front of them, what their record will be if they get the victory here.
Well, they will be, if they get this victory, they will be 6-0, and they'll be 3-0 in the Big 12. They're already ranked 14th in the AP right now, 12th in the coaches poll. Cincinnati's not ranked at all. And ahead of them, the Cyclones, who are very well coached, as you know. They go to Colorado next week. Then they have homecoming 2 weeks after that, so they get a bye against BYU. And then after that, it's home against Arizona State, at TCU, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. So their November is pretty tough. I mean, they've got 3 quality opponents there. Oklahoma State having troubles, but 2 of them are at home. So it's an interesting road ahead for Iowa State. But I think what you're getting to is they have a shot, a realistic shot of qualifying for the playoffs. Is that where you're going?
Absolutely, sir. That's right where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's not like I've called Coach Campbell and said, well, I've already inked you into the playoffs. I mean, I can, the phone would probably slam down. Oh, no, we don't have phones anymore. We have cell phones now. So they have positioned that. That's where I'm at this point in the season. Can you position yourself, or are you so far behind that you have virtually no chance?
All right, that's awesome, TJ. We are out of time here for our week this week. But before we go, is there anything else at any level, whether it's college, pro, or anything else, that you would like to share with us before we roll on out of here?
Well, as I write each week in the Pro Football Journal, and today I didn't have anything earth-shattering about where we're at in the NFL. I mean, it's 4 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
But we have teams that are obviously playing well, and then we have teams like the Miami Dolphins that are not playing. I mean, the New York Jets that are not playing well.
Mm-hmm.
So are winless. So now is where I'm headed with this. Over the course of about the next 4 weeks, which will take us to the halfway mark, the teams that are struggling, you know what? You might want to go out there and win a game, guys.
Yeah.
Because when they have done, all those folks that do the analyticals, and I really respect what they do, they'll give all those percentages. When your record is 2-6 after 8 games, the odds of you going to the playoffs are, and then they'll list this tiny little percentage. And no one wants to have that associated with their name. In fact, I'll go to the one that I read online, and I watched them do it. I was in pal with Bobby Ross. I thought the guy was really, really a good coach. I'm not sure that it was a great fit with the Lions, though we did have some success there. But that man rebuilt the Chargers. And they started 1992 0-4 and made the playoffs. They're the only team that has done that.
Wow.
So, yeah, when you start out the season and you're not winning, all those analytical guys will tell you what your chances are.
Yeah, and it kind of. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say back then, what year was it?
1992.
Okay, so a lot less teams qualified in 92 than in 2025, right? So that was an amazing accomplishment to make it into the playoffs. It's an amazing accomplishment at any point, 0-4. But yeah, he turned the team around. Great point. And it's unusual. So, but it starts with the win.
He never lost those guys. I mean, he was that man was a hell of a guy and a hell of a coach. And just to add to that, watching that team, one of my former players was a Chargers season ticket holder. So I was able to go to at least one game every year and see the Chargers play.
Uh-huh.
And watching the Bobby Ross team take the field that year, especially late in the season, it was, oh, yeah, this is not the 0-4 Chargers. This is a team headed to the playoffs.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well, they changed who they were, right, and their demeanor. And
which is not easy.
It is not easy.
Which Aaron Glenn is sure learning in New York right now.
All right. Yeah. Well, last question for you on this: how do you think him yelling at his players is going to impact those guys?
Well, if he does it every week and he doesn't say anything that actually impacts those players, they're going to tune him out. There is a time and a place to yell at players. And I'm not criticizing him because he's not me and I'm not him. But I don't ever remember yelling at one of my teams after a loss. I put it on myself, even if they did not play particularly well. Now, the practice the next week, and this is high school level, they were, let's just use the term arduous. Those kids, they knew the issue that they were going to deal with, meaning me.
Yeah.
And I was hard on them during the week, but on game day, I was their biggest fan. I was so involved in calling the defense and being, this is when I'm a lower division, I'm a sophomore coach, and being the head coach with one assistant. I mean, I was a busy boy.
Yeah.
So yelling at them after the game when they're 15 years old, and as the season wore on, they knew what it was like. And that team, they're still my favorite team of all time, my favorite guys of all time. We played for the league title. They knew what they were dealing with, and I was upbeat. I was just demanding.
Yeah. Well, you're
demanding. And then it was
Go ahead. Keep going.
And Aaron Glenn, he's got to find something to praise those kids about. He's still trying. Does he not realize you are still trying to win that locker room?
Yeah.
Maybe he called Dan Campbell this week. I mean, I think the world of Dan Campbell. When think of a guy who changed the culture there. He didn't do it overnight.
Nope.
But look at what he started doing as his second season in Detroit, late in the season, how the Lions looked on the field. Those fans there in Detroit were watching them going, wow, this is the team I want to cheer for.
Yeah.
And look at where they went.
Yeah.
The last 2 years. So if you're going to change the culture, you can yell, you can be demanding, but you have got to get those kids to believe in you and believe in what you're doing. So young Aaron Glenn, and of course I get to say that to everybody based on my age, young Aaron Glenn, you've got to win that locker room.
Yes, you do. All right. These are people, so learn how to serve your people and lead your people. That's awesome, dude. Thank you, TJ. Wonderful being with you. We will catch you next week, and have a great rest of the week, everybody. Thank you for being here. So long.